We are recording for another wonderful Thursday night session with Ya Boys. And my cat was here, but he's buggered off now. And I don't know what he's doing. Oh, he's going out. Fair enough. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to see you all. Hope you're all well.
Indeed.
Looking after yourself, staying healthy, mentally and physically.
Of course.
Because, you know, hard times, dark times. As Harry Potter. I just watched some Harry Potter, so that's why it's on my mind. Although not the Deathly Hallows, where they do say dark times in that wonderful voice that I can't do the impression of.
Honestly, can't remember any of them, so...
And we're friends. What the fuck? Having said that, I didn't watch them till I was like 20-something. Mainly because I was raised in a cult. Magic.
Anyway, onto the cars.
Yeah, man. We're here. We're doing all about the drifting today. So, Mr. Andrew, if you wouldn't mind doing your famous intros.
I mean, you could have just put it in there, really.
Yeah, but for fuck's sake, man. You're supposed to do like some bowly intro and some funky move that makes me cringe.
I can't think of any. Do you know what? Who did I see dab other day? Oh, it was somebody. It were somebody on Dancing on Ice. You know, because I watched that.
Unless
no,
it's
really.
well, I'm gonna let you into a little secret here, mate. I saw an episode. Never seen it before, but it had Rufus Hound in it and Lady Alicia. I was like, fair enough. I'll give that a watch.
Yeah, well, that was literally this week.
Rufus Hound was a fucking G on it. Loved it. Full Mario shit. Rest of it was quite bored by. Not gonna lie.
I mean, it's a dancing program. Anyway, enough sidetrack.
Yeah, this isn't actually about really weird shit, is it? It's about cars.
Review of Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to talk about drifting and dancing on ice.
Yep.
It's lockdown, mate. We've got to be forgiven for this crazy shit.
We can excuse the Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, exactly. So, drifting. Now, for anybody who don't really have a clue about drifting and kind of what to expect, here is clips that we took from Three Sisters in a time of the year where we were allowed to go out and play.
Not one or 2 months where we were allowed out.
Yes. Where we had a thoroughly fine time, but it was hot and I had to wear a hoodie because, you know, I get sunburnt.
And I burnt.
And you just looked...
I just sat there in shorts with
dapper
shades
and
on.
cool in your shades. And I looked like a wanker in a fucking hoodie. Oh, well. Anyway, this is what drifting's all about. Have a watch.
On this layout, so it's going to be good for us to see what these guys are going to do properly in that chase position. they go. Dab of the handbrake as Cotton now brings across speed. Look at Max Cotton all over the side.
Oh, Max. And then now you come back to the real world of sitting in our houses. Anyway, a lot has happened in the UK drift scene. So basically from last year, and if we just take the last handful of years, you effectively had, say, your grassroots, I say grassroots level, but it's a bit like that. You had RDC, Retro Drift Champs, you had Scottish Drift Champs, and you had another, but I forgot what it's called. Fuck it.
Clearly not important.
I actually genuinely forgot what it's called. Fuck it. It's another one anyway. So they were, you know, sort of very aimed at your kind of regional. I mean, Retro did around at Three Sisters last year. They do quite a lot down in South Wales. That's where the guy who runs it.
Is that more?
I want to say Graham.
Is that more you like entry level then?
Yeah, well, I say that because yes, however, you get pro drivers in it.
Yeah.
So, ish not. But yeah, so that was always good. And then what you had was if you wanted to get basically the top level of drifting in the UK was the British Drift Championships. You had a Pro-Am and a Pro. That's what we went to see. That's what you've just watched. So the Pro-Am was basically first coming out into it, and you had effectively to get top 4, I think it was, to get your pro license. So then you could compete in a pro, and you are going up against some fucking insane. I mean, even in Pro-Am, to be honest, some of the standard of cars is really high.
Oh, yeah,
the boards is stupid. Which kind of took me by surprise, really, because I haven't actually been to a drift event for a few years. And when I was really into sort of like the drift scene, or the Skyline and what have you, it was about 8 to 10 years ago now. And the development has been insane. And probably the money as well, actually. That people put into the cars is fucking insane.
Like, a lot more professional as well. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at the setups. I mean, we couldn't get into the pits because of, you know, restrictions and what have you. But if you look at some of the setups, you know, Team Drift Force, you know, who are really good set of guys and full truck. You know, you've got your top bit you're standing on there, and they're hopefully rocking a lot of beamers next year, which is going to be good. But yes, you had the BDC, and that was your top level, and you got incredibly good guys in it. So to get into the BDC, you had a series called the Drift Cup. Now, the Drift Cup was basically aimed at grassroots drifting, and that was the only way really to get your BDC license, your Pro-Am license. So if you did a Drift Cup round and you came, there was an unseeded and seeded. So if you scored points, or if you came like top 4, let's say again in the non-seeded, you could then go into the next day to do the seeded. If you scored points in that, you then remain seeded. And if you came I want to say either top 3 or top 4 again in Drift Cup. You've then got the opportunity to then compete at the next round of the BDC, the Pro-Am. My cat's trying to get in. So, 1 second. Come in, you bastard. Come on. Are you coming in or not? Oh, there you go. Jesus Christ. It's a fucking hard life in this zoo. Now, all of that has completely changed. Everything. So, 2 years ago, the BDC... Molly, don't fucking go on the computer. I put it there so you wouldn't stand on it, so you wouldn't turn it off when I'm doing this. What the fuck, mate? I'm trying. So, a couple of years ago, BDC was sold to Matt Stevenson of Slide Motorsport, local guy to us. Very good company, who Clark Customs works for and set up his own fabrication shop. Absolute stunning fabrication work. Built little guy in pink S13 with the LS engine. Kid who did awesome last year.
Yeah.
Whatever he's called, built his car. Fucking amazing. So he took it over and ran with it from the... Why am I forgetting all the names tonight? The Irish guy who runs Drift Masters.
Owen.
No.
Irish name.
Egan. Dave Egan. There you go. Not as Irish,
yes.
Dave. But yeah, Dave Egan. And, you know, he's had an incredibly difficult couple of years. He had a complete, basically, washout season, was soaking constantly, and then he's had COVID. Now, he has, if I'm going to get my phone, because I made some notes to kind of keep myself on track, so I didn't chat so much shite. You just sent me a load of vids.
I did.
Oh, these all your vids, have you editing?
Yeah.
Oh, your little cute face. He's making a vlog. Oh, yes.
Made a vlog.
Or made a vlog, needs to edit, put it up. Still, at some point, we'll get around to that. So, coming into the 2021 season, and the BDC has a new owner again. Matt Stevenson's decided to sell it. Reasons of too much going on, basically. And the guy who's took it over was the general manager, Mac. He sent me more vids, Andrew, while I'm looking at my phone. It's very off-putting to see this lovely picture photo of you coming up.
I sent them about 10 minutes ago. But...
Oh, well, it's only coming through now. So Mac's taken over. I want to say Mac Frost. Probably not his name. Fuck it. Somebody. Now, he's not actually been in the game for a long time. I think he sort of got into his love of drifting about 2012-ish time. I think he was a bit of a vlogger. And then for the last sort of 10 rounds probably of the BDC, he's been the general manager. And, you know, he's got a very big, passionate love of drifting. And he's also coming at it, I suppose, from a spectator's point of view rather than a driver's point of view.
Which is always good.
Yeah, you know, which is good for people like us who don't compete in it. You know, and you want to... I think he actually came up with the... I don't know, some shit, I don't know, whatever. I'm about to go on there. So, change is coming up. You've got new head judge. So Simon Perry was the head judge last year. Came up with some really quite different ways of judging. You had your ABC lines and all this kind of thing. I kind of get the feeling that was taken with some people in favour of it, some people not. But you know, things change. Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be a new head judge. Now, Mac has been working on an app which is kind of going to give a live update, which I think could be very good from a driver's point of view as well. You've got your spotters and everybody as well, and when you're working there. He did make a sort of thing that he wants to get the live stream free again on one of his recent announcements, which would obviously be cool. I mean, it's not a lot of money, and it is expensive to do a live stream. So, you know, I mean, what am I paying, £5 a month or something? Something like that. But yeah, so I wanted to show you the calendar because he's got some sick lineups as the guy. So let's go with this one. So we're starting off with a stadium. event. So a bit like in what would have been when they last went to the NEC and they did a big sort of like stadium. It's really cool events. I think you can create something really special.
Yeah,
So
so I guess that's more you create a kind of
yeah, exactly,
circuit.
exactly. It'll be really cool, and I think there were good. Well, you'll hope there'll be crowds there. I think it's going to be a shame if there won't be. But obviously, it's in April, and I can't imagine a lot of crowds there by then, or possibly limited. But I doubt it. But still, so that's going to be Coventry. That'll be really cool. Then to Teesside, and they're going back to the more classic Teesside tracks, which is basically just fast door-on-door action. I mean, Teesside has been, oh man, it's been drifting there since I can remember when I first started getting into drifting many years ago because I'm old. Up to Driftland, which is the only European purpose-built drift track. Three Sisters, which, you know, I like Three Sisters, good track. And then back to Teesside for a night event. So that is going to be a sick fucking lineup, mate. And I'm very much looking forward to it.
That'll be pretty good, though, a night event. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, man. It'll be tricky for the drivers.
Mm.
Very tricky for the drivers. The interesting point he was saying, so Buxton's often on the BDC.
Yeah.
He isn't a fan of the oval tracks. So I do believe they are keeping Buxton because they're going to do the Battle Royale, which is like an event on its own. But it should be good. So there is a big change also coming in the fact that Drift Cup is now no longer. And the reasons for that we're going to shortly. So they will be doing another category, a Pro 3 category.
Right.
So you've got your Pro 2, which is your Pro-Am, or used to be called Pro-Am. And then you have Pro 3, which is going to be your grassroots, basically trying to up the ladder in the BDC.
Is that going to be like you can just go and enter it, kind of?
Basically, yes. You don't have to have the license. It's kind of what you would do with Drift Cup.
Yeah.
You go on it now. From what the only impression I got watching some of the interviews and vids that they've been putting out recently, they're only going to do, I think, 2 or 3 of the events this year of that, and then try and get into a full season in 2022.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it does, because the reality is, and I don't know how long they've known about this, Drift Cup is now no longer, and that is because Sweeps, who was the man behind Drift Cup, who's been in the game for a long time, and Ian Waddington, who was the commentator at Three Sisters, have now set up the UK Drift Championships. That's right, we've got another acronym. We've got BDC and we've got UKDC.
Just a bit confusing.
Yeah, so this is kind of taking Waddington, who's, you know, I mean, he is a driver himself. He has a pro license. He's a fabricator. He builds race cars, and he is a commentator. And he's commentated in pretty much, I want to say pretty much every flipping event other than probably Formula D, because he's done Drift Masters. He does loads of Europe stuff. He's done all the British stuff. I think we're trying to get out now. Out you go. Come on. Out you go. Fucking hell. It's non-stop in this game, mate. Non-stop. So, yes, so the UKDC. So that's kind of recently been announced. Obviously, if you follow the Instagram, you'll see will have popped up in the stories a little bit. They're wanting to do a big focus really on the production side of things, and they have teamed up with Fast R, which you'll have seen because they do lots of vids and shit. But they're going to do the full live stream, and it's going to be a free live stream.
Good.
Which is awesome because, you know, obviously more viewing. I know it costs money, but it's more kind of coverage, I think, for the drivers. Therefore, sponsorship deals and more people getting into it, and just, you know, the good things that are entailed with that. They're wanting to try and get back to circuits. So if we look at the calendar, oh mate, And you have my favourite circuit. That is not the right one. That is not the right one at all. I can only apologise for my incompetence. That's what I'm looking at. There we go. So this is the UKDC drift calendar. It's a very bad picture because I screenshot it while watching one of their little videos. Starting off at Three Sisters because, you know, everybody loves a bit of drifting at Three Sisters. Then they're hitting up Anglesey, mate. Anglesey, the greatest, most beautiful track in the UK, in my humble and correct opinion. If you say you didn't know there was a track in Anglesey, I will slap the shit
I know
out
the
of
track. I didn't know they did drifting though.
Well, they do the Drift Matsuri, which is just basically a festival of drifting for a weekend. I haven't ever been to a drift competition there, but like I say, they do the Drift Matsuri.
It's literally in the middle of fucking nowhere.
It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's shite to get to. Hence why it'll never get like big national stuff, really, because your access road's a single fucking lane.
Yeah.
It is, however, stunning. And
yeah,
I've never actually driven on the new track. I've rode my bike on the old one. The track days on there. That shows how long ago that was, because not a lot of people probably know about the old track there. I've been to the new track a lot. I filmed when I was kind of doing the motorbike filming. Filmed them guys racing up there. It's a fantastic track, and I just can't wait for that, to be honest. So they got the Anglesey over to Teesside, Driftland, back to Teesside, and then Silverstone. Silverstone's not drifting for time, man.
No, well, I saw drifting there at tracks a few years ago.
Done demonstrations, yeah, that's the right word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Demonstrations, but certainly no like standalone competitions. Now they're gonna have a pro class, and I think like an amateur class is kind of the vibe I'm getting. So Silverstone's only going to be a pro class, which may well be something to do with licenses, I imagine. But I think that's really cool. It's some new sort of blood into it. The guys behind it are really good. It's giving some, I suppose, competition to the BDC, which obviously has been kind of standalone for a while now. So that could be good because they're going to push each other to be, you know, to make sure whichever one they want to, you know, get a pipe up on each other. But yeah, so there's supposed to be some very good European drivers lined up. They're not saying no, obviously, because, you know, I want to keep you intrigued. But, you know, that should be some good shit. And then there's a third fucking series, mate. We've gone from fucking a feeder series and a championship to 3 top level championships in the UK, mate. We're rolling with the times. And this one, I'm not sure about, but at the same time, I'm kind of intrigued and excited.
Okay.
So this is going to be Motorsport UK sanctioned.
Which is interesting.
It is. So basically, Motorsport UK are the governing body, for four-wheel drive motorsport, effectively.
Yep.
So what you are basically looking at is about the most, I suppose it would be the most pro level of pro level. But then again, with BDC, you've got to say, well, it's the BDC, not the top level. But then you've now got UKDC. Anyway.
I'm skeptical on them tracks because none of them tracks look like drifting tracks to me.
I would agree. The only thing I can think of is maybe you've got infield stuff as well, or I mean, I can't imagine Snetterton. Maybe if you just did the top loop bit. I really don't know.
I guess they're gonna have to do some like shit down straights, but
yeah,
I can't see it being that good, but
it'll be interesting. Now, the drifting itself, I am skeptical about, but you know, we're obviously putting out hope out there. I think it's interesting they've launched this because it has always been a thing of is drifting and motorsport, because you're not kind of timed, which you think pretty much every other motorsport you're timed. But what this is in association with Time Attack. So, yeah, now this is why it's making me want to go to the events. Because you're effectively going to have a Time Attack event, you're going to have a car show, because there's always a car show, a Time Attack event, and now you're going to have a drifting event. I don't know what the plan is. I mean, there was a bit like an IFA drift thing that was a bit shite, to be honest. And it was doing all like sensors and stuff, I suppose, to kind of try and get it away from being judged by someone's opinion. But that is it, because drifting is a fucking show sport, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It is pure show. You're being really dumb with cars.
Yep.
So 2021, they're going to look at a 3-round start up at Bransdonny and Snetstren. So that will be obviously in line with your Time Attack events.
Which
and then,
I suppose will probably bring a bigger crowd to it as well.
Yes. Well, that's it. That's why I want to go to this. When I saw it, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to go BDC. And then they announced UKDC, and I was like, cool. Probably try and go to some UKDC. I'd love to go fucking Anglesey if they're keeping it up at Anglesey, man. Even though it's in the middle of fucking nowhere and takes ages. But I love the track. But then I read it's in the Time Attack. Time Attack's got some insane machinery. Now, the guys who are behind Time Attack have had drift experience before. They did. I think it was the European Drift Championship and D1 UK, which is a long, long time ago and kind of just fizzled out. But at least they have had some experience. They do know kind of what they're talking about. And, Yanni Barnes, who have you behind Time Attack, isn't exactly an idiot. I think as a spectator, it will be very cool, because you're going to get all the Time Attack events, you're going to get the car show, and you're going to get a drifting event. As to whether I'm going to watch it and it's going to become the pinnacle of drifting, I think it'd take a lot for it to become that, really. I think the UKDC probably has more of a chance of taking that from the BDC. But yeah, so now we have the UKDC, the BDC, and the DPC.
Good.
Lots of acronyms, and the RDC and the SDC, and the one that I've forgotten.
Good.
So yeah, a lot of change, basically. So I rambled on a bit there. I tried to keep it concise, but a fucking lot has happened in the space of a handful of months.
In
the UK
summer,
drifting.
basically, lots of drifting next year, I guess.
Yes. And then even more the year after, because they'll be doing 4 seasons of lots of shit.
Yeah. I mean,
But it is good, mate. It gives more, and there's more recognition coming back to drifting. And I like drifting. It's cool. I want to do more drifting, but at the same time, I also want to do track work with the car. So I'm a bit up in the air about that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I am skeptical if the Drift Pro will actually take off, or whether it'll just fall on its ass. But it could be excellently done, and they could get insane drivers, and it is like a very high level. I mean, if you think Time Attack has some stupidly high level shit in it.
Yep.
So I'm going to stop talking, because it's been probably nearly half an hour now.
Yeah, so we'll
so that's it, folks.
Wrap that there.
If you actually got all the way here, let me know your thoughts. Tell me, what did you think of BDC for the last season? Do you think it's good? It's getting changes. What do you think of this new MS UK Drift Pro? And obviously UKDC, because there isn't really a negative thing to be said about that, to be honest. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Drop us a message on the old gram or below. Let me know. Hit me up. Blah. silly on Saturday.
See you
Peace out.
later.